Proceed. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kiza. This is Proceed, Diana. We introduced Gay Rights Uganda. If you can't hear my voice, please raise your hand and just shout out my name. I'm a bit nervous, as you can imagine. For those of you that don't know where Uganda is, that's Uganda there. South of Sudan, Kenya's in the east, Congo in the west, Tanzania in the south. And I'll just give you a brief history of how I got to this point here, how Prosi and Dan and everyone else we work with got into gay rights work. I fled my country. My story is very similar to Dana and Prosi's story. I fled my country as an activist, a student in Uganda, and my activist work got me arrested, tortured in prison, and I was in prison for about 4 months. And when I finally made the decision to leave Uganda, I came over to the UK, and well, I thought, well, I'm kind of the UK, you know, it's a very welcoming place, and you know, I'll be able to state my case, and you know, they'll be able to prove why I'm here. The difficulties I faced, and everyone in my position faced at the time, were tremendous, unexpected things, simple things. For example, you know, you expect comfort when you're in London in your own community, but you often find that you're, you know, kind of isolated because people don't want to associate with you if you know you've been an activist in Uganda or you're gay or whatever, so people exclude you. Lawyers who just didn't feel comfortable dealing with LGBT cases. And obviously having left home as well, you're a bit nervous. And as a result of that, you know, we kind of thought, well, we'd want people to be supported the way we wished we'd been supported. And the things we learned in the process, the various networks we tapped into, and the people that kind of assisted us and everything we learned, we tried to put together in this organization here. Who are we? We are former asylum seekers, refugees, graduates, students, volunteers, activists, and we all share the common goal of, you know, trying to campaign to improve the situation in Uganda, but also be able to deal with people fleeing, be able to give them advice, not simply campaign, you know, for rights, and then when people come over here with, you know, they're left with no coping mechanism. I'll just give you a brief chronology of, you know, how the situation got to be here. Most people think that the situation in Uganda, you know, with regards to LGBT issues became worse early this year because of the popular BBC program, The World's Worst Place to Be Gay. But actually, as you can see from the timeline, it all started in 2006, 2007, you know, the anti-gay bill that was halted in January was proposed in 2007. About the same time, we had tabloids, you know, publishing people they suspected to be gay or people that were gay. You know, some of them, you know, were simply family members who had friends that were, who had relatives that were gay, and they published people's names in newspapers. Now imagine what would happen to someone in a village living very quietly if their name is published for everyone to see. So our people in our group were threatened with being arrested about the same time. That was in 2006. It was in the newspapers and everything. 2007, we had religious leaders calling for whoever is, you know, associated with promoting homosexuality issues in Uganda to be marooned on an island in Lake Victoria until they die, you know. So when people hear this sort of things, they kind of encourage them to act on their prejudices, you know. And this is very dangerous for, you know, people trying to live quietly, trying to hide, you know, such headlines. And these are some of the headlines you'd see in the newspapers. You know, that man over there has been tortured. He wasn't gay himself, the man in that newspaper there. He had a brother who was gay. That's the same newspaper, different headline, you know. These are mass demonstrations. You can see that placard over there. That lady is basically advocating for, you know, murder, you know, of people, you know, people that are gay. And so that's the context of our work and what has brought us, you know, to this point now. And what we do We support asylum seekers who are in the same position we were in 5-6 years ago, and on occasion when we've got the facilities and the funds and the time, we support people back home in Uganda, or we answer inquiries from journalists who are just inquisitive, want to know what's going on in the country. Provide up-to-date information about Uganda, the situation, because one thing you have to remember is that the press cannot publish anything that comes across as pro-gay, you know, so any cases of abuse, arrests, or murders, unless it's high profile, it's very, very rare you'll find that in the press. And this, when we've got a bit of extra time, bit of extra funding, and goodwill, we provide emotional support, and that's calling people, sending emails, giving them advice on the legal process. Most people don't know how the legal process works here. Provide phone cards when we can afford it, again. And general support, this support with human feeling. Thank you very much, and questions.